Hi everybody, I am the EagleFan. Welcome back to my channel. This is Wednesday Weekly, the video edition. Good evening. Up first this week, we have our updates of the channel. What have we been doing this week? Well, I have been releasing several videos, reaction videos on YouTube this week. I'm looking at doing some more blogging as well. As of right now, I've just done a few reaction videos. I'm going to be doing some reviews and even an interview or two coming up. I'm going to have both a blog and a video version of those. Also, keep an eye out for some more Soarin and Scratchin coming at you soon. We have a recording date scheduled, so we're going to probably try to do as many videos as we can in that date, and then hopefully they turn out better than our last attempt in which we had to scrap them all. So we've got more of that coming up. That'll be on the Soarin and Scratchin channel. Keep an eye out there. Now, as I always do on the blog, I always discuss a little bit of the personal side, just so you get to know a little bit about me. I'm still back at work. Unfortunately, we had a bunch of layoffs at work this week, totaling over 100 and some people. Several good people, unfortunately, got laid off. My thoughts go out to them. They've got the talent and they've got the experience that they should all land on their feet. I wish them all well. And definitely stay in touch. As far as everything else goes, we packed up my mother's belongings and got them out of the assisted living. So we're kind of now done with dealing with the assisted living building. Now let's move on to the world. Well, first we find a situation where a gentleman in Australia was woken up in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m., by the doorbell constantly ringing. As luck would have it for him, he had one of those Ring doorbells that show the video so you can actually go and see what's outside. Because with somebody ringing the doorbell like that at 2 a.m. in the morning, you want to make sure it's not somebody that's meaning you harm. So he went and he looked at the video screen. What did he see? Well, this is what he saw. Apparently there was a Huntsman Spider. I believe one of the largest spiders in the world is a huntsman. That was just crawling along his video, along his doorbell, and must have just been standing with one of his legs or multiple legs on the actual button, which was ringing it constantly. Eventually, he crawled away and went about his own business. Now, the good thing about the huntsman is they're not deadly to humans, but they would definitely put a fright in you. As big as they can be, that's amazing. I would not want to look out in my video camera to see that. I don't think I'd want to go out front for a while after that. Next up, we go to England, or the UK. There is a company that is looking for one person, and you can actually enter online. That one person, what they will do is send 2 cases, maybe 12 bottles in total, to that person to basically drink their wine and review it. So if you think that could be you, you can actually enter on Facebook or on Twitter, create a photo of you enjoying a nice glass of wine, upload it, and if you can tag, it is at Vantage Roots Ltd, all one word, and also do a hashtag Summer Wine Taster and hashtag Come Wine With Me, you can be entered as a drawing to be able to possibly win that one position. What will you get for that other than 12 bottles of wine? They pay £200. I don't know what the conversion rate on that is, but I'm thinking it's around $300. I could be wrong. I'll double check that. I'll put a little excerpt here and see if I'm a complete idiot or not, if I'm way off on that. You can also enter on Instagram, if you have Instagram, by posting that picture, and you need to tag at Vantage Roots Wine. This is all in my blog, so if you want to check it out there, you'll be able to see exactly the wording and spelling and everything. Just thought it was a little interesting tidbit for anyone who may enjoy a little bit of wine. I'm not a wine drinker, so I won't be entering. I have a feeling my wife might, though. Where do we go from there? That's a great question. I have the greatest and smartest viewers. We're going to go up to Vermont. There was a gentleman who was skydiving. This gentleman actually had a prosthetic leg. Unfortunately, as he jumped, he didn't realize that his leg had actually come off. It fell off as they jumped. The adrenaline was so high, he didn't realize that. Now, he landed safely. Everything was fine. He was actually tethered to an instructor, so they landed safely, but at that point then realizing that his leg was not there. They posted this on social media that the leg was lost. A farmer in the area actually saw the post and found the leg in his field, and they were able to then reunite this gentleman with his prosthetic leg. So it has a very good ending. It just shows the importance of being very careful when you're skydiving. Next up, we are going to go over to Germany, a neighborhood in Berlin, Germany. They had an issue recently where within that neighborhood, people were getting their shoes and other footwear stolen. They were just disappearing. As it turned out, it was about 200 pairs of shoes. 200 shoes in all, roughly 100 pair. They were trying to figure out who this culprit was. Oddly enough, it was a little fox. Apparently, Swiper was out there running around collecting shoes. Who knew? All they had to say is Swiper, no swiping, and it would have stopped. But they found the culprit, they found the shoes, and semi-happy ending. Some of those shoes were a little chewed up, so they weren't going to be used again and dirtied. So they lost the shoes, but it wasn't a neighborhood prowler, so they were happy about that. Now we go to our shame of the week. We have multiple Florida Man winners this week. First one who takes the shame of the week, the 54-year-old Florida man stopped an 18-year-old teenager who was riding his bike. He was riding his bike to basketball practice, and he detained him, asking him why he was there, said he thought that the kid was breaking into cars and had stolen the bike. Problem is, the boy was just riding to basketball practice. Simple as that. No nefarious means going on here. Nothing, no crime, nothing taking place. It's another scenario where it shows that there's still a racial divide. Of course, this was a black teenager riding through a neighborhood that was not a black neighborhood, so to speak. And that's completely racial profiling. Would he have stopped him if he wasn't a black teenager riding a bike? I'm fairly certain the answer is no. So just don't look at the color of a person's skin. Don't look at how they look. Don't look at what they do, what their status is. Don't look at their sexual orientation or how they relate in terms of gender, or their gender identity. Look at the person. Find out about the person. That's how you judge a person. How does that person behave? How do they act? What do they do when they're around and within society? That is the only thing that should be the definition of someone, not a label that you can just easily throw onto someone just to create a they. That is just not acceptable. So that's the first of our Florida men. We have another one. This one is another instance of social distancing gone awry. In this case, it was actually the person who was pro-social distance who was being the moron here. Apparently, this Florida man saw a mother and son thinking that they were not keeping proper social distance. So he has an issue with them and starts yelling at them. Now, this is a mother and son that live in the same house. There's no reason they can't be standing next to each other. If they're going to catch anything, they would have caught it on their daily lives. But it didn't stop there. He wasn't happy with just yelling at them. No, he decided that he needed to pull his gun on them. This is already crossing the line. But then what did he do? He fired shots. Thankfully, everyone was okay. But still, this is a man who should not have a weapon. There are people like this out there who should not have a weapon. If something like this is going to set the person off when they don't even know the full story, they should not have a weapon. Sorry, I'll get back down off that soapbox again. We have one last Florida man. This really grinds my gears. This is a gentleman who, in this time of turmoil, where we have a lot of small businesses who are really suffering and really need to get the money that was offered. We have this gentleman who got over $1 million from the government because of the funds that were available because of the virus. What did he do with that? It was supposed to be tagged to helping him pay the payroll. Instead, he bought a $300,000 Lamborghini Huracan. It was actually more than $300,000. It was like $318,000, but roughly a $300,000 car. And that wasn't enough. He also spent several $1,000s more, possibly even several $100,000 more. They weren't specific entirely, with various expensive hotel stays, expensive shopping trips, and expensive jewelry that he was buying. All this on what was a loan that was supposed to be for allowing him to pay his payroll, not allowing him to feed his ego, his tiny little fragile ego. This man is reprehensible to me. I cannot stress enough how much of a dirtbag this gentleman is. I know of people who are small business owners who have trouble just trying to get the money that was offered because they were giving out the small business money to businesses that definitely would not qualify as being a small business. And then you have idiots like this man out there using it because he wants to get a Lamborghini. That's not what the money's for. This is why the system's broken. That man needs to go to jail. End of story. I will come back down from my soapbox here as we end our Wednesday weekly for this week. For my parting shots, I have a pay it forward challenge, which is just simple. Just be a member of society. Think about others. There's others in the society. Think about them. Don't just think about yourself. Life is so much easier and so much better if we work together as a group instead of just trying to be individuals. You can be your own individual as a person, as a personality, but don't think about yourself first. Think about others. And that is it for this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. As always, keep your eyes to the sky and be good to everybody.